Okay, so I recently made a video in which I talked about how I felt that Charizard was maybe a wee bit overtuned in the Pokemon TCG. It's just a wee bit overtuned. But either way, I commented on the fact that it was doing really well in events, and I was worried that moving forward, that some tournaments might just be an awful lot of Charizard. And I'm happy to report there is always two sides to every coin, and thankfully Singapore seems to be proving that. We'll have to wait and see if Orlando is the same, but Singapore does seem to be proving that this is not indeed just a Charizard world, and there is hope for the format. Now, this is of course not me saying that he won't face three Charizards in a row on TCG Live every day. I'm not saying that that won't happen, but hey ho. We are in an interesting format at the very least, and as you can see from this tournament results, I'm very happy to report there is not a lot of Charizard. So thankfully we can take the pitchforks down, or at least I can, and we can kind of just take a look at how cool this format is once again. Now, Lost Zone Giratina came first, which to me is a little bit surprising, all things considered, just because whenever I hear about people talking about Lost Zone Giratina online, it's mainly just how much the deck breaks, which I personally, just in my own experience, have never really found an issue with serious bricking Lost Zone Giratina, especially not with like Pokegears in the list. But either way, some people definitely feel like the deck is very bricky. We'll have a look at the top decks here. So have a look at this. Also, congratulations to this player. I will not pronounce your name because I will mess it up. So I'm not even going to try. I'll just grab this Lostatina list open so we can open as an image, please. And okay, very spicy. Nice to see. So this is kind of like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this version of Lostatina. So playing Iron Hands and the Iron Leaves. So Iron Leaves, of course, Vizard. Iron Hands for Lugia and such. Not just Lugia, though, like other single prize decks that might be roaming around the format unchecked, I guess. But, still a very interesting list. Always cool to see decks that play four different basic energy types. I'm still not used to that, really. Like, I'm still not used to seeing it, I should say, even though, like, Lost Zone's been around forever now and, always been playing these different types of energy, but still, four different types of energy in the Lost Zone list, even then, it's cool. It is cool, though, I will say that much, but yeah. So that is Giratina and Lost Zone. We will, of course, talk about the Charizard list. Now, I don't have the EUIC winning list in my head, the Tord list, so I won't be able to offer any opinions as to if this is the exact same list, but I'm fairly sure it's not. I'm fairly sure actually there was a Cleffer in that list, and there was a lot more one-offs, but it might be very similar actually. Actually, we can have a look at the UIC list in a second, but yeah. Yeah, very cool list. I do like Bibarel. It's interesting that Bibarel's here because most people have come to agreement that Pidgeot is superior. So it's cool to see Bibarel having a chance. But yeah, it's a nice list overall. Do like this. TM Evolution over TM Devolution for the Mare, which is interesting. So just favoring consistency over like another tech card, which is cool. So yeah. 8 energy. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so that's Charizard. Can't really say too much about the big dragon himself, what already hasn't been said. Then we have one of my personal favorite decks in Standard, actually, is Arceus Giratina, which wasn't a deck that was talked about really going into the new format, but glad to see it's still sticking around, especially with Iron Leaves, of course, and Maximum Belt, allowing you to get a 1-KO on Charizard, so that's nice. A one-off Eri is interesting, or Eerie. If you play this deck, can you tell me why this card is here? Like, what is this here for? Is it to try and slow down other decks, like to get rid of switches and rare candies? Is that why this is here? We don't play the minion in this deck, though, so there's no way to find it immediately. Kind of have to just play it on the turn you find it kind of thing, or I guess use it when you need to, but it's interesting. Also, League HQ is quite cool, but I suppose you never want to use Trinity Star at that point, so yeah, it's interesting. Although you will be, you have to be careful you don't stop your own Iron Leaves from attacking, but it's still quite cool. Yeah, it seems like a very fun list. Might have to give this one a whirl on TCG Live, but yeah, looks to be pretty fun. Although I'm kind of stuck. Well, I'm kind of stuck playing Vikavolt for now, at least. I'm trying to make Vikavolt work. It's slow going, but I'm trying to get there at least. But yeah, 4th place was actually an Ancient Box deck, which is quite cool. I do like to see Ancient Box doing well. Now, I did have a look at this list very briefly before I hit record, and something I noticed that stuck out like a sore thumb with this deck for me, at least personally, is the 8 energy cards. Missing an energy attachment and thus missing an attack with this deck feels so bad. I don't know how people can get away with just 8 energy. I guess you have like 4 Earthen Vessel, so it's not like outrageous, but just 8 energy. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know about that. Feels super sketch, but yeah. Maybe I'm just too used to playing like Goldengo with 12 plus energies in the list, but yeah, I don't know. 8 energy. Can't really get over that. Yeah, I'll have to try it out for myself and see how it goes, but I do like Palpad. I'll always say this. I love decks with Palpad, so that's cool. Pokestop, though? No, I don't like Pokestop. So many things go wrong with Pokestop, but it worked out for this player. 4th place, very impressive. And unfortunately, we won't be able to see this list or the Future Box list, which is one of the better performing Future Box lists, actually. Actually, what I might do is, if we get these lists up in the future, what I'll do is I'll just put the list on the community tab. If hopefully I remember to do that, I'll try and make a note of it at the end of the video. But yeah, so what is that Future Box? So that looks like the more traditional version with iron leaves and such. So that's cool. Can have a look at the we'll stick to top 8 for this one, but we'll have a look at the Future Hands and then we'll look at Gardevoir. So what was in Future Hands? Okay, pretty self-explanatory, nothing too crazy. Iron Bundle, yeah, that's nice to see. Okay, quite a lot of energy actually. More than I would have thought, but yeah, quite a few energy. Is there anything else that's really sticking out? Not really. Judge is always cool to see because you have Mew EX to help get back up to larger hand sizes, which is cool. One of Pokegear, never really felt that, to be honest. Would much rather have like a second Gamtagacha or a 4th generator. Running 3 just feels kind of bad, but again, I'm not the player of this deck, I'm not the player that did really well in the event, so clearly worked out for them. Definitely worth experimenting with, it would seem. Because Iron Hands is like a funny one, right? Because I was putting together a tier list video, I guess, if I ever get around to actually doing it. But I was putting together a tier list video, right? And I really wasn't sure where to place this deck because it feels so consistent a lot of the times. Like the deck just plays itself after a point in the game, really. But it still feels a wee bit weak sometimes, especially when my opponent just like boss Iron Crown KOs it. And you look at what like more competitive players are saying, because I try not to just use my own opinions for a tier list because I'm a filthy casual basically at the end of the day. I'm nothing really compared to the really good players. So I was just seeing what other people had to say about this deck, and it was basically just Iron Hands ain't really doing it right now, which is interesting. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes on over the format. But we'll have a very quick look at Gardevoir, which did very well in the, I want to say Perth, I think it was, when it came 3rd. It was either Perth or the other one. Again, we can have a look in a second, but okay, again with the Eerie, or the Eri, was interesting to see that. Partly because I'm not sure why you play just the one copy of it. Being a supporter card and a tech card at the same time feels a bit awkward, Just feels a bit weird. 2 TM evolutions, nice to see. A luxurious cape, which is pretty cool. Basically just to get Drifloon, Screamtails, those high HPs. Quite nice. But yeah, I'm not really seeing anything too outlandish with this list. A lot of town store in the game right now. That seems to be the stadium of choice. But yeah, without Path to the Peak, I guess stadiums aren't super important. But yeah, the rest of the top 16 is pretty interesting, to be fair. There's some more Charizards, there's some Ancient Box, even a Roaring Moon. I'm quite interested to see what that list is. There was another Giratina Lost Zone. No Lost Zone single prize. That seems to have like fallen off really hard since rotation. Wonder if it's just because it can't like really just do enough damage to keep up with some of the bigger Pokemon. I'm guessing that's kind of why, but I guess it's just like not chunky enough to deal with Ancient Box as well, because like you're not really killing them, are you? I guess, yeah, no, yeah, I guess you're not doing enough damage to kill them. But if this was Perth, no, this wasn't Perth, this was Singapore. Did I look at Orlando the last time? I don't remember actually. Was Orlando the one that I thought wasn't over? Okay, so was won by Charizard again, but as we can see here, a very, very different top 8. Okay, Chen Pao, you have piqued my interest with that. Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to take a look at those. Sounds a bit weird. But yeah, we do see a Dialga in top 24, which is very cool. I do like to see that. Also an Arceus Armorage. Pretty cool format, really. And then the absolute menace of standard right now, Snorlax in 30th. So yeah, putting Snorlax in its place, I guess. Roaring Moon to Dunsparce, though. Have we got anything too spicy? Temple of Sinnoh is quite cool, actually. I do like that. Still 9 basic Dark Energy. So yeah, playing the split of the EX and the single prize. This looks like a really fun list, actually, to play. It's kind of like Ancient Box, but you get that consistency boost from the Dunsparce and have the 1-hit KO potential of Roaring Moon. Yeah, sounds pretty cool, really, all things considered. So anything else? Yeah, I guess Ancient Box. Second place deck that... I mean, I was calling this deck like a budget deck going into this format, which was very, very wrong. Very, very bad take. It was kind of like saying Lost Zone was going to be a budget deck going into Lost Origin. That was funny, actually. I'm not even mad about making that mistake. It was just funny. What do we got here? And this is very, very similar, actually, to the list that did well in the tournament we just looked at, which I've already forgotten the name of. Singapore, that's one. Yeah, 1 basic Farangy. Why? Wait, why'd you play Fire? Oh yeah, Koraidon. Never mind. Yeah, Koraidon for Shred. Is that worth it for single energy? I mean, I guess you have Vessel, so it's quite easy to find it, but yeah. Not sure you really need Shred, but either way. I wonder what Shred is there for. Like, why do you need Shred? It's interesting. Maybe if you're not really doing enough damage with the first attack, then you can threaten a Shred, I guess, but I don't know. Feels kind of bad. But yeah, very different regional events compared to, I want to say Perth. Was it Perth or the Philippines? Yeah, there we go. See, this is why I was a wee bit concerned in the other video, but, things are very different. Also, is that a Meowscarada? Okay, sorry, we're getting sidetracked again. What is Meowscarada running? Okay, it's getting a bit of deja vu. I was kind of playing a similar list a while back, but definitely not this list. Yeah, nothing too crazy here, really. 3 copies of TMs, so 2 evolution, 1 devolution split. That's quite cool. A Master Ball, I do respect that, actually, because you just have to find Pokemon, and loads of them, really. That's really cool, actually. Meowscarada. I'm surprised not more people are talking about this. I don't feel like people are really talking about this, but yeah, 18th place Meowscarada. That's really cool. Is there anything else, though? Not much, apart from like the Charizards. And then we can have a quick look at the Philippines again. Yeah, this was the crazy event that like had my alarm bells ringing. But yeah, alarm bells ring because that's a thing. But yeah, Dialga in 15th and 16th. That's quite cool. Yeah, what a strange format. I wonder if the tournament after Singapore will be any different, really. I think this is probably as diverse as it's going to get, but we'll have to see. Still really cool, though. I mean, you can't really expect to see more diversity in this. I guess the big loser of this format so far actually has been like Lugia Archeops. Not really seen that do anything major, at least not yet. I mean, it's still early days, of course, but Lugia seems to suffer from some consistency issues, but at the same time, I don't feel like Lugia bricks very often, but maybe it can have problems, but yeah. Interesting events, though. But yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think down below. It's been Aaron Power, and as always, thank you for watching.